Hi, everyone. Welcome to Clutch Entertainment today. Today we have Zach from Barhop Design. He's a web designer. Do you want to go into a little bit into that, what you do?
Sure. So like you said, my name is Zach Weaver. I own Barhop Design Quincy. My brother and I started this company about 6 years ago, and Phil asked me to talk a little bit about starting the business, and here we are.
Yeah, I'm happy to have you on the show today.
Thank you.
That's pretty great. I know Zach because I went to college with him, and he's an ex-hockey player.
Just
So
roller.
yeah, exactly. So today we're going to be talking about starting your own business, how easy it is, some things you can do, and just a way to get yourself started. So first thing we'll talk about is the easiness of starting a business. So do you want to go into that, like some of the attributes of that?
Sure. So, a lot of people are afraid to start their business. They don't know what the steps are. It seems confusing. In reality, to start a sole proprietorship, you just go to the county clerk's office, you register your business, and then they have you put an ad in the paper as a business announcement for 2 weeks. Then they send you your business license, and with that, you can get your business bank account, and essentially, you're good to go for your DBA or sole proprietorship.
Gotcha. So how long did it take you to do all this? Was it
I would say the whole process is probably a 3 week process. That's with the 2 weeks it takes, for the advertisements in the paper. I'd say your total cost is under $100. It's
that's
just
really
really
not
your
too
time.
bad.
Yeah, it's not bad at all. So, and once you are a business owner, you start getting tax write-offs, and it has its advantages, but it also has its disadvantages. I'm sure we'll go into down the road here.
Right, right. So do you get like what kind of materials do you need like to start it? Just
Well, I mean, you can start a business. It really, it depends on what you're going into.
Mhm.
If you just want to power wash driveways, then all you need is a pressure washer and maybe a truck or a vehicle to get from place to place.
Mhm.
First business I started was lawn mowing. We just had a pickup truck and a lawnmower and some trimmers. So, I mean, it depends on the nature of the business you're going into. For myself with web design, we really just needed a computer and internet access. So
Nice, nice. That's pretty cool. Do you get like a tax write-off for any of the materials that you start with?
yeah, I mean, so when we purchase a new computer for the business, that'd be a tax write-off. Um, all of our hosting, our tax write-off, any plugins we use are tax write-offs. Anything utilized for the business specifically would be a tax write-off.
Okay. Okay. What about like running the business? Like, does it take time to get like the client going, or like how do you get your clients together?
I'd say every business is different as far as how well and how fast it takes off. Um, yeah, for myself with a client base that's, not everyone has a website. So now we're limiting ourselves already. It probably takes longer than when I did the mowing company and everybody has a lawn.
Mhm.
For me, it took a few months to get our first client. People want to make sure that you're going to be in the business, you're not leaving anytime soon, to trust you with their business essentially. They want to see that you're making it and not just doing it and then going to leave, a few months later and try something else. So, um, for myself, I drove Lyft for about a year and a half until we were steady enough to, make enough recurring revenue to be sufficient on just Bar Hop's income. And obviously I haven't drove Lyft since, so we're doing pretty good. We continue to grow, but yeah, it just takes time.
Gotcha. Do you go off recommendations of people too? Do you like ask people to recommend you and stuff like that?
Normally you don't have to ask if you do good work for them, they'll refer you themselves. So, we're always taught that word of mouth is the most powerful form of marketing. So I always treat customers how I'd want to be treated, and it's worked
Mhm.
well thus far.
Okay, cool, cool. So it's just like a grind, basically, you know.
Very much so.
Is it
Yep.
easier to start with a partner or by yourself?
Uh, that really depends. They say the golden rule is don't go in business with family, and that's what I did. But
Oh, you're making it fine, so
right, Chris and I are polar opposites. So I guess it's been working out very well. But when going in business with a partner, yes, now you have an extra hand to do work, but now you need the extra income to provide. So just
Right.
keeping that in mind. If you guys are 50-50 partners, make sure you each are doing 50% of the work, and someone's not doing, majority of the work, and the other one's just kind of waiting along the way for the money to come in.
It's about pulling your weight.
Right, exactly.
So, what are some of the difficulties with starting a business?
I'd say the biggest difficulty is you don't have health insurance. I I feel like that deters a lot of young entrepreneurs from starting businesses, having affordable healthcare. Yes, there's different things you can reach out to, but healthcare, when you're spending three, four, five, six, $700+ a month in health insurance, and you're just starting out and you don't know when your money's coming in, that can eat up a lot of your funds. So, um, that is a big difficulty to overcome. You don't have a guaranteed weekly income. Every 2 weeks you get paid, or every week people get paid. If a client pays me late, I can't, tell my mortgage payment, oh, well, my client paid me late, so I'm paying you late. It's, you know, you got to figure it out or
How do
have
you
money
enforce
saved up.
that if they're paying you late?
Thankfully, I haven't had an issue with late payments. A lot of businesses will enforce a late fee and kind of get after them, but um, I I I have them on recurring payments. A lot of times, their card will just get charged monthly on the same day every month. So we haven't had an issue with it, which is good. But
That's a blessing right there.
yeah, I'm sure a lot of businesses do. Um, and then acquiring the clients and obtaining their trust and doing the work for them, it takes time. And if you don't have a side hustle, so I was driving 40-50 hours a week with Lyft, let
Mhm.
alone doing everything I could for Barhop and making cold calls and trying to get the wheel going on that. You just got to make it work. um, I didn't have much of a, I always knew in the back of my mind I could always go get a job. So for me to fail, worst case, if I absolutely need money, I could always go find a job.
Yeah.
It's just I wanted to
So you had a
do
backup
everything.
plan. So
Yeah,
that probably
I
helped too.
right. And so that was my backup plan, or um, but I wanted to do everything I could to not have to have a job where I had to be there from 8 to 5. Because with Lyft, you can turn it on and off. I was able to just turn it on while I was cold calling, and then when I got a ride, I would just leave my house and go give the guy a ride. I didn't have to sit in my car and wait for a person to call Lyft. So
Oh, okay.
that it worked out really well for me.
Okay. What about partnerships? Do you do anything with that, like to get more clients?
Yeah, we've partnered with a couple people. It just needs to be mutually beneficial, and so we've ran into some partnerships that haven't really panned out for us, and some partnerships that have worked really well for us. It's just kind of finding your niche and seeing, thinking about how you can help one another, and if it'll, if it's good for both sides or not. But
Hmm.
there's definitely good and bad partnerships.
Yeah, yeah, I gotcha. So would you say difficulty would be like social media and technology too?
Or as for what?
Like, do you like need it basically? Like, would it be something that's like
Yes,
important?
technology is always changing. It's always going to be there. Um, if you're not up to date, with the latest trends or technology, you're kind of falling behind already. Um, I always said, like, when I was getting my marketing degree, they're teaching us TV and radio ads, but they weren't teaching us Facebook marketing or TikTok marketing because it wasn't around yet. And so, how can you teach someone about advertising, uh, you know, through social media outlets that aren't even available yet? It's just something you have to teach yourself and learn online, and um, you know, keep building up your education around those things to be the best in the industry. So yes, you need it. Social media, it really depends on the market you're trying to, or demographic you're trying to go after. As far as technology, you don't need the best of the best computer, the best of the best phone. But
You
I
just
would
need to
say,
know the basics
right,
basically.
right.
Yeah, I see that in my job a lot where I get a lot of people in there that are like I don't know what I'm doing, and I'm the one who has to help them because I'm an
Hmm.
IT guy. So,
Yep. Yep.
so I know what you mean with that. If you don't have somebody who knows what they're doing, it kind of
Hmm.
makes it harder too.
That's right.
So, so now we're going to go to the question section. So basically we were talking about earlier about how you get started. It kind of goes off that first thing that we were talking about, like applying for a business. You
Hmm.
were talking about going to like a local office. What's the difference between like a sole proprietorship, which is like for self, or an LLC, like a limited liability company?
Yeah, so an LLC, there's between an LLC and a sole proprietorship. Sole proprietorship is um, all of your assets as a individual or person. An LLC limits liability. So if you were ever to get sued, no one wishes that upon themselves. But if you were ever to get sued, then y- the only thing they could sue or go after is the assets of the company.
Right.
So
So
it
it's more
limits the
protection.
liability. Correct. Yep.
Gotcha. So is it easy to make it your first year, or is it like that your most difficult year most of the time?
I would say no. I don't know the exact statistic about this, but I bet at least 50% of businesses fail within the first year. They say once you hit the 5 year, then you're there. But easy is no. You have to be pretty self-driven and um, dedicated to get through, especially the first 2 years. I mean, those are some of the toughest times I've ever been faced with, because you don't want to, when you're selling, especially for us, we didn't want to sell like, yeah, I need you to buy this website or I can't make rent. You
Mhm.
can't sound like that.
Yeah,
And
you can't
so
be desperate. You gotta
right.
be
And so
you gotta be direct.
people can sense that every day of the week. And so once you start sounding desperate, that puts a worry in the consumer's mind. Why are they being desperate? Why don't they have other sales? Okay, I'm going to go to someone else, even if they're less, but they sound like they're not doing well. So you never want to sound desperate in sales. You just want to, stick to your numbers, know your value, and sell a good product.
Be confident.
Definitely, confidence is key.
Yeah, yeah. So what do you do when like disaster strikes, like within your business? Like say the power goes out, client's not paying, you're getting bad reviews, or like even like say the weather does something to your, like probably
Yeah,
wouldn't affect you too much, but
yeah, it wouldn't affect us too much. I mean, power goes out, unless it's for days upon days. At least I have my phone, and thankfully, you can access just about anything from your phone nowadays. We
mhm.
wouldn't be able to design, sites, but we could always catch up on that. So um, that wouldn't be, as bad. As far as like bad reviews, though, again, fortunately, we don't have those, and I plan never to have those. Hopefully, you resolve the issue before they get a chance to write a bad review. But if a person ever receives a bad review, it's called reputation management. The worst thing you can do is not answer it, because everybody looks at the low star reviews when they're searching for a company, see what they
Mhm.
said, and then they'll read the response from the owner. And so that's your chance to win over a future client, even with a bad review. So making sure you're honest and, not name call or, do be petty or do any of those things that, don't play their game. Just, try to resolve it within
Try
the
to
review.
address it the best you
Yeah.
can, yeah.
Yep, and be professional. That's all you can really do at that point. If you receive bad review that's not legitimate, you can reach out to Google or Facebook, and sometimes they will rule in your favor and take it away for you.
Do they reach out to the other person when they do that?
No. For instance, one example is this person left a bad review on a restaurant that wasn't even open yet, and so all the company had to say was, they can't leave a review. I'm not open yet. So it's just something. It's kind of just at Google's discretion. They don't really reach out and take the time to do that. It's just they look at the review, look at the person's. Is it a brand new account? Is that bot account? What are the reviews they left in the past? They'll look at his history and kind of they might just wipe his account. Because normally if it's a person who's just leaving bad reviews just for the heck of it,
Just like spamming people.
right? They'll be able to tell, and they'll just fix it right then and there.
Okay,
So,
cool. And then my last question is, do you produce like a terms of service for your company and give that to people? Is that required typically?
Yeah, we create a contract for every client, especially web design clients or SEO clients. We
Mm,
don't for hosting, but you always want to have a terms of service or a contract of work or scope of work. You want to be as thorough as possible, so there's no, oh well, I thought this, or I thought that. I've definitely learned over the years, you know, if you think about it, you just want to put, you'd rather be safe than sorry. You can always say, well, it says right here that, we were going to only do, 12 pages of content, or it was not going to be, it was not going to add payment integration, so on and so forth. So you want to spell out as much of the scope of work as you can. So if for my industry, if the client ever asks for something outside the scope, you can say, it's not within the scope of work, we could produce another quote, or there'll be a
mhm.
surcharge or whatever. But just so everybody, there's no, communication's key with any business. You want to be as upfront and honest as you can, and make sure everybody's on the same page.
Cool, cool. Well, thank you for joining me on the show today, Zach. I
Not a problem.
appreciate all that insight, and starting your own business is a lot easier, I guess, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's easy to start but hard to continue.
Yeah, it's got that reputation where it's like it's so difficult, like it's so many things, and you're just like, oh my gosh,
Right,
like people probably get overwhelmed by it.
definitely.
And I think
But
that's the big thing with it. So,
yep.
well, thank you all for joining us today. And if you have any questions, you can drop in the comments below, and Zach will be able to answer some if he takes a look at that.
Yep, I
But
definitely will.
thanks for being on the show again. And if you guys can like and subscribe, that would be really great. So I'll see you guys later. And thanks a lot, Zach.
I appreciate it.
All right, have a great day, guys.